Thank you for joining me today for another episode of the Angel Report. Today, I am going to give you the gift of time. Well, I can't add more time to your day. What I can do is give you some tips to help you feel like you have more time in your day. I'm going to do a short series throughout the next few days, and each day is going to have a different theme, and today is going to involve grocery shopping and cooking. I know, well, most of us actually enjoy cooking. I actually truly love it because it's just really fun to experiment with different foods and recipes. But sometimes it can be the most daunting task to write a menu or a grocery list, or even try to think up something that everybody in your family is going to like. So my first suggestion is find a rotation that is pleasing to everybody in your family. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can just be super simple stuff. Next, try to write at least a week's worth of menu. It doesn't have to be breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but at least dinner, so you have that off your plate. My suggestion is to always make double of a few meals, so you can either freeze them for a night later on, or you can put them in the fridge and eat them just a few days later. Sometimes I'll send them with my husband for lunch, or we'll just have a leftovers night, and that makes it really easy, especially if you're gone during the day and you just don't have time to cook. Utilize your crock pot. It is your best friend. Put your stuff in the morning and it will be ready by dinner. Sometimes you'll have to add things like mashed potatoes or rolls or rice, but the main meal is going to be ready for you. Organize your grocery list. I like to organize mine by aisles. I don't know if you actually are that familiar with your store, but I try to categorize mine so I don't miss anything on my list. 9 times out of 10, I'm still going to miss something on my list and I'm going to end up having to go back, but at least you get most of the things that you need. Also, make sure that you have basic pantry items on hand. Have your pastas and your pasta sauces and your rice and your potatoes and your veggies and your meats. And at least if you don't make it to the store, you'll have those basic items on hand so you can make something on the fly for dinner. We also like to make breakfast every Sunday night, and that is something that the kids look forward to, so we don't really have to think about Sundays anymore. It can be pancakes and eggs, it can be omelets, it can be waffles, it could even be a corned beef hash if that's what you like for breakfast. But if you have something to look forward to, it makes it much easier to get things down and you don't even have to think about it. I like to write our meals on the calendar because my kids like to ask me every day what we're going to have for dinner, and that way they can just look at the calendar and they know what's going to be made that night. There are times where I've switched it up once in a while because somebody didn't feel like pork chops, they'd rather have chicken or hamburger, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. You just swap it to a different night. But a lot of times I'll cook a meat and I will use it for multiple meals. Kind of like today, I cooked a turkey and I bagged it into individual portions so that I can just pull it out of the freezer whenever I need it. But whatever you have to do, just try to minimize the amount of time you spend in the kitchen, the amount of time you spend thinking about cooking, and the amount of effort that you put into it. Spending time with your family is more important than spending time cooking. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It doesn't have to be elegant. It just has to be good food. And that is the Angel Report.